Oh, hello. I must have hit my starter thing a little bit too early. Well, anyways, I'm gonna make this very brief and very short. I want to keep this very brief and very short. Let me turn this fan off so it's not in the background. One of the things that I've really heard too much of, and I'm really sick and tired of hearing, is trying to think of the word I could say without it being caught up in the algorithm. The I'll call it the cocoa vade. Um, so I hear a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, the economy tanked because of cocoa vades," and I'm like, "No, it didn't. Cocoa vades had nothing to do with tanking the economy. Cocoa vades was just a particular virus, a particular uh, illness. It was the people who are now asking you to help them keep their job, who sat back and told you 2 years ago, or at least majority of the population. At least I can't. Let me rephrase that. I can't say majority of the population. I can say in the state of New York, we had a particular governor who told people they were either essential or they were non-essential. People who worked various jobs to put food on the plate, on the table for their children, their family, their wives and husbands, they were deemed non-essential. And we as the people who suffered the most have allowed them to shift the blame to the cocovades and allowed them to say, well, we're only experiencing inflation because of cocovades. No. It's because you're spending more money than you're bringing in. You're printing more money out of thin air, which means it devalues the current currency that's in circulation. And anyone who is not a liberal retard understands why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. It has absolutely nothing to do with cocovades. Things didn't shut down because of cocovades. Things shut down because they deputized the health department and told people if you dare open your restaurant, we will make sure you never ever will open it again. If you open your gym, we will fine you into oblivion so that you can never open your gym again. We have allowed them to say Putin's price hike. When the price of oil, fuel, gas, whatever you would like to call it, began to go up the moment, the absolute moment, that the Keystone Pipeline was canceled. This was long before Putin's price hike. We have allowed, not me, this is the one time I'm not going to include present company, but I don't necessarily have any, I guess, what you could say. One finger is, or kind of dangerous, but a fist is more lethal. Well, there's not enough people willing to make a fist with me, so therefore, I'm just a lone finger. But however, I will point out that I never believed anything that they said when it comes to shifting blame from where it belongs. Where the blame belongs is solely, and I do mean solely, placed on the shoulders of your politicians. Your politicians who do nothing but want to um, assert more tyrannical power over you. The reason why they're pushing these electrical vehicles has shit to do with the environment. Anyone who understands how these vehicles are made, understands that it does more damage to the environment than help. It is all about control. Something that's electrical is very easy to shut off. It's all about stopping people in this country from having independence and freedom. That was what the whole lockdown was about. Remember? Because in New York State, you can only have 20% occupancy. So if you're a big store like Walmart or Target or Sam's, and you can only have 20% capacity used in your store, you still have way more capacity than a mom and pop shop that has maybe what, 1,000 foot square storefront. So let's just say, let's just make the numbers easy. Let's just say a typical Walmart could hold 500 people. They say you can only have 250 people, 50% capacity, right? Now let's say a mom and pop store can only hold 50 people tops. You can only have 25 customers in your store at a time. Who do you think is going to benefit? Cocoa Vades had nothing to do with that. Cocoa Vades was used, like I said it would be used, as a Trojan horse. You can go back and look at a lot of my videos that I did around that time. And you'll clearly see I've turned out to be right. It was a Trojan horse. It was to, one, sabotage the economy that Orange Man had created because everybody hated Orange Man. And to bring down by making fools out of the people in this country to vote against their best interest, even because of a man whom they deemed he was making mean tweets. They voted against their own best economic interest. And people like me who said, hey, I'm not a fan of Orange Man. I don't even like Orange Man, but I like his economic policies. He did more for the African American community than the first so-called African American president. Salaries soared, present company included, under Orange Man. And now we begin to see the stagnation because of the inflation, because of senile man. So I just want to thank all the libtards who, I hope this is what you wanted. And sadly, for most of y'all, this is what you wanted. You hate people who love freedom so much that you would rather see you go down along with everything because you hate to see other people be free. Why do you think they hate the state of Florida so much? California shouldn't be talking shit about nothing, as horrible as that state is. And yet we still have people who think what they're doing is a great idea. Yeah, we're going to ban gas cars. Oh, you can't charge your electrical vehicle. Bingo. They just exposed what they're really about. What they're really doing is... Man, if I wish I could talk. They exposed what they're really about. Control. Keep your thermostat above 78. Don't charge your electrical vehicle that we said we're going to mandate everyone to get. Do you see it now? Or are you still stupid 2 years later? This is why I don't do many videos. I know a lot of people be like, hey man, where you been? Living life, enjoying my children, watching them grow up, watching them play sports. Most people didn't listen to what I said then, and most people ain't going to listen to what I said now. So it doesn't really matter what I say. Because people always find a way to excuse tyrannical behavior. Because in their mind, they don't believe it could ever happen here. While it continues to happen every day. Every day for the last 2 years. It's pretty sad. But I know my time is probably short, more than likely. Because I'm a dinosaur. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. Approaching middle age. I just don't get down with all this shit. I grew up in a different era. I'm not. I don't. I only watch my words when I understand I'm in the lion's den. But overall, I say what I have to say. And let me say this: Lions Den don't really have anything to do with it. But there's something called due season, and when I feel like that time is due, that's when I say what I have to say, even if it's controversial and even if it'll give me a strike or whatever. But I'm gonna end this video here. But stop letting them blame Coco Vades for all the fucked up shit they did to you and to everyone. Because it's not Coco Vades. It's tyrannical politicians who really need to be removed. That's what the Constitution says. But maybe if more people read the complete version of the Second Amendment, maybe they would understand why protecting that is just as important as protecting the First Amendment. Because when they take away your First Amendment, the only way you could probably get it back is by the Second Amendment. So if they take those two things away, what do you got? The reintroduction of slavery.